Man, I was genuinely pumped up for that new Iceman album. I was hyped when I seen the rollout begin, when they plopped out a 25-foot ice block, put it in a Toronto parking lot like some frozen monolith from a bad sci-fi movie. Fans out there with the pickaxes, blowtorches, doing everything to try to get to the release date. And then you see the grand finale where they froze the actual CN Tower with massive icy blue projections, and they capped the whole rollout with a 10-minute fireworks show over the harbor front. In my thoughts, I thought, finally, this is an astronomical, world-class spectacle we would expect from the biggest rapper on the planet. You don't just drop a rollout like this unless you're coming with a once-in-a-generation project. You're about to deliver something cold, I know it. But then I see the 3 albums drop. And I was even more hype about that because I said, damn, this boy is not effing around. You had Iceman drop, Habibi drop, and you had the last one, Maid of Honor drop. 43 tracks all in one night. And look, I get it. Maybe you're trying to burn off the tail end of your record deal the same way a guy tries to finish the last of the milk before it expires. Smart business move on paper? Probably. But artistically? Is this the way you want to go, Drake? After everything that went down in 2024, this moment right here was supposed to be your make or break moment. It was a pivotal moment. And instead of one laser-focused, curated masterpiece, we got the musical equivalent of throwing 3 pizzas in the oven at once, hoping nobody notices that we used subpar crust and they're all soggy when you take them out the oven. And here's the thing, guys. 2024, I know that shit took a toll on Drake. He got hit from all angles. Okay, pause. Kendrick didn't just win the battle, he cooked you. Not Like Us wasn't a diss track. It was a cultural reset button. It became an anthem. It won half the Grammys in 2025. And then Kendrick, he took it to the Super Bowl halftime stage while the whole world sang along. That must have been a bad time for you. And then you responded with Family Matters and The Heart Part 6. And the culture, they collectively went, yeah, Drake, that's cute. And you know what? Then a few months later, we get the lawsuit against UMG that just made it look like you couldn't take the L like a man. The perception shifted. The throne felt a little wobbly. And instead of coming back with one venomous, focused response that said, I'm still the freaking guy, you gave us quantity over quality. And that's what I'm upset about. This ain't the time nor the place for that. And let's talk about the vocals on these albums. What the hell's going on with the production? And the vocals? Drake, what happened to your voice? Back from 2011 to 2016, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same era, the voice had warmth, texture, swagger. Now it sounds like it's been run through a malfunctioning AI filter, heavily reliant on auto-tune. Sure, but the real crime is the phase vocoder artifacts and all the format shifting that you're using. Just look at Janice. Shut the up. It doesn't gel well at all with the harmonies that you're singing. It just doesn't work. It sounds like hot basura. With all the technology we have in 2026, you can take some random dude off the street, pair him with a world-class engineer and producer, and make him sound decent. But here we are, the biggest artists in the world. And the auto-tune sections, they're fighting the track instead of riding the track, instead of meshing and gelling with it. And you have all the experience in the world to know how this shit works. So why isn't it working? And that's not transparent pitch correction anymore that you're doing. This is sonic malpractice. I understand the 2024 trauma. It probably put everything under a microscope. You're second guessing every bar, every melody. You're thinking about it too hard. You're micromanaging it too much. You're looking at every external factor, but you gotta stop. You gotta get back to being you. The version that really shined. Let me tell you, the version of you that really shined was that braggadocious one, that cocky, minimalist beat assassin. That's where Conductor Williams comes in. Why the hell didn't you use him more? You know, I like the Fighting Irish freestyle he dropped for you back in January 2025. That's the lane. I like sparse, menacing production where your wordplay and your cadence can actually breathe, man, where you get in your pocket. I would have had at least 3 or 4 more tracks like that on Iceman, at the least. Instead, we got a bloated triple album sprawl that feels like you were checking boxes instead of making statements, my guy. I'm not saying the whole thing is hot garbage, because I'm going to keep it real here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to trash my guy. There are moments like flashes where the old Drake peeks through, but overall, it's like you promised me a night at a world-class steakhouse, white tablecloths, dry aged ribeye, the whole experience. And at the last second, you said psych, and you rerouted me to Burger King, the drive-thru. You didn't even go inside with me. And the saddest part, the bars in the rap, the bar is set really low in rap. Not to mention the bars in your raps. And most of these new cats are coasting on vibes and TikTok clips. A guy with your talent, your catalog, your platform, you were leaps and bounds ahead. You could have dropped 1 legendary project, okay? Not 3. You could have dropped just 1, okay? And it would have been talked about for a decade. Instead, we got 3 albums that feel like they're still processing all the Kendrick Lamar shit at this point. You need to blow up the whole formula, okay? You know, it's like cooked, bro. You got the same team, the same OVO comfort zone. It's stagnant. You're 39 years old. You're turning 40 this year. This is act 2 of a legendary career. You don't get to phone it in anymore. I wanted a cinematic, orchestral, something epic, my dude. I wanted retribution. I wanted growth. I wanted you to actually flesh out the story of where you've been and where you're going to. You were right on track. You just got on the wrong train, my guy. You're like a boxer. All right, this is my analogy. It's like you're a boxer who's been with the same trainer for 15 years, like a Teofimo Lopez. The trainer still knows the old moves, but the game has changed and you need to evolve and you need to grow. The young lions are faster, hungrier, and they don't care about your legacy. You heard me? And this is another thing that psychologically, I think this is something that's on point right here. When you wake up in silk sheets, silk drawers every morning, it's hard to find that fire, my dude. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. The Kendrick situation already divided the fan base. After Iceman and the surprise siblings, whoever was still riding with you, a lot of them just got off the train too. So here's my question for you, Drake, and I want you to really sit with it. Was this the moment that you fell off? You need to look in the mirror and you need to actually let that shit marinate. You need to actually ask yourself that question. And commercially, you're still printing money. You still got the most streams. You got the biggest debut in years. But culturally, the silk sheets are warm. But the hunger that made you great, it feels like it's fading, my guy. You have all the talent in the world. Stop worrying about what everybody thinks and get in the lab with people who actually understand life on the ground level and just cook it up, my guy. That's what bothers me, man. It's like you got wasted talent because you're worried about the external factors out there. And you need to not worry about just the penthouse view. Worry about the people on the ground floor. Reinvent the formula. You know, make one cold, focused statement. That's all we ever wanted, because right now the culture is moving on and the sixth god is starting to look a little room temperature. It's your move, Aubrey. You're independent now. You ain't got none of the, all the label shit on top of you. And you got all the money in the world. You got access to all the best people in the industry. Make it happen, bro. You fucked up on this one, but it's all right, bro. The next one that comes, I'm going to listen to it. I'm not just going to be like, oh, you're washed now, so I'm not going to listen to you anymore. Nah, man. I'm going to listen. And you better come hard, bro. Because that next album, if you don't come correct, it's a wrap for you, son. You might as well sell your catalog for like 500 million, 600 million. And that's it, bro.